Welcome back to Sip and Talk.
Hey, everyone.
You know, our buddy Micky, he is just like so into this whole start with why thing by Simon Sinek.
Oh, Micky. Yeah. He brings it up all the time. Says it changed his whole perspective or something.
Totally. But, you know, revisiting it, there's actually some really solid stuff there. Still feels super relevant.
Absolutely. So that's what we're doing today, right? A deep dive into start with why. We want to kind of unpack the core ideas.
Yeah, and figure out how it actually works, not just for like huge companies, but for, you know, us regular folks too.
Exactly. What's the real world application? How can you use it?
So the main thing is his golden circle, right? Why, how, what?
That's the framework.
Okay.
Simple, but the order is everything.
Right, because most companies, most people even, they start on the outside. They tell you what they do.
We sell computers, or I'm an accountant.
Then maybe they get to how they do it. Our computers have the fastest processors, or I use this special software.
And the why. Well, if they mention it at all, it's kind of like an afterthought, buried somewhere deep.
But Sinek says the inspiring ones, the ones that really connect, they flip it, they start inside with the why.
Yeah, start with the purpose, the cause, the belief. Why do you even get out of bed in the morning to do this thing?
And it's crucial to get the why isn't making money, that's just a result.
Totally. Money's important, obviously, but it's the outcome, not the driving force. The why is that deeper thing. Your core motivation.
That gut feeling stuff.
Exactly. And what's really cool is how he links it to the brain.
Oh, yeah, the brain science bit.
So, talking about why, apparently taps into the limbic brain. That's the older, more emotional part.
The part that handles, like, trust and loyalty, decision-making.
Bingo. But here's the kicker. It doesn't really process language. It's all feeling. It's where gut decisions come from.
Ah, okay, so that why message hits you right in the feels?
Pretty much. Whereas with the features, the specs, the rational stuff that speaks to the neocortex, the logical language part of the brain.
So when you lead with why, you're talking directly to the decision maker in the brain.
You got it. You connect on an emotional level first, and then the rational brain kicks in to justify the feeling. Like, oh, yeah, this feels right, and it has great features.
So the big idea, the hook, is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
Precisely. It shifts the goal. You're not trying to sell to everyone who needs your product.
Yeah.
You're trying to connect with people who believe what you believe. Finding your tribe, like you said.
Okay, I see it. Like Apple.
Classic example.
Yeah.
Their why isn't we make user-friendly computers. It's something deeper.
Yeah, it's like challenging the status quo, thinking differently, empowering the individual, that kind of vibe.
Exactly. And the great computers, the iPhones, all that cool stuff. That's the what. That's the proof of their why.
And you feel that why in their ads, their design, everything, it's consistent. So for you listening, your why can't just be words on a page. It has to be like lived, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
It has to be authentic. And it's not just for businesses selling products. Think about Martin Luther King Jr.
Right. His impact wasn't just about a plan.
No, I mean, the plan was important, obviously. But what really moved millions was his belief, his dream. People showed up because they shared that fundamental belief in equality.
They believed what he believed. It wasn't just his dream anymore.
Exactly. And another one is the Wright brothers.
Oh, yeah, versus the other guy, Langley.
Samuel Pierpont Langley, yeah. He had the funding, the connections, the government support, everything.
But his why was different, more about fame and fortune.
Seems like it. It was about the result, the glory. But the Wright brothers, they were driven by this passionate belief that flight could change the world. They had a powerful why.
And guess who flew?
The guy's fueled by belief, not just resources. It really shows where the sustainable energy comes from.
Okay, so let's pivot to companies. How does this start with why actually help a business, you know, practically speaking?
Well, first off, differentiation. In crowded markets, everyone kind of looks the same after a while. A clear why makes you stand out.
Gives people something more to connect with than just price or features.
Exactly. It builds loyalty. Customers who buy into your why aren't just customers. They're advocates. They stick with you.
They become those raving fans Micky talks about.
Yeah. And think about employees. Wouldn't you rather work for a company where you believe in the mission, the purpose?
Oh, absolutely. Way more motivating than just, you know, clocking in and out.
Right. When the why resonates, work feels meaningful. Think about Airbnb. Their why is about belonging anywhere. Or Spotify, inspiring creativity.
So the why shapes the culture, the strategies.
And ultimately the actual product or service.
Yeah.
It creates this alignment, this coherence.
And it builds community, right? Not just customers, but people connected by a shared belief.
That's a huge part of it. It's powerful stuff.
Okay, so that's companies. What about us? Individuals. How do I find my why? Feels kind of big and fuzzy.
It definitely is a process, not an overnight thing. The sources suggest it's more about discovery than invention. Looking back,
Like digging into your past. Significant moments.
Yeah, those times in your life could be childhood, could be recent where you felt really alive, really engaged, or deeply connected to something or someone, highs and lows.
And those moments hold clues.
Apparently, yeah. They often point towards your core drivers, what genuinely motivates you. It's about finding the patterns, the common threads in those experiences.
But the sources also say we're kind of bad at seeing our own patterns. Like, we need an outside perspective.
That's the tricky part. Self-awareness is hard. We're too close to it. That's where something like the friends exercise comes in.
Okay, what's that?
Yeah.
Sounds a bit vulnerable.
It can be. But basically, you ask a really close friend, someone you trust, hey, why are we friends?
Wow, okay, that's a direct question. They might just stare at you blankly.
They might. It's hard to articulate. So then you probe a bit. Ask something like, what is it about me specifically that makes you feel like you could always count on me? Or, what qualities do I have that you value most?
Ah, I see. You're asking them to describe the value you bring to their life.
Exactly. And their answers, the words they use, often reflect your core contributions, your why. They see things you might miss.
That's actually really insightful. Like, holding up a mirror, there was that example, someone whose why was about being part of a team, pursuing goals together.
Yeah, and understanding that helped them realize why they struggled so much when asked to work completely alone. It just didn't align with their core why.
Makes sense. So it explains your impulses and where you thrive.
Totally. And, Sinek and his team offer courses and stuff to help with this, which tells you it's a common struggle, finding that personal why.
And the key is keeping it simple, right? Actionable. Something that feels true to you, not just your job title.
Absolutely. It should resonate. And when you align your choices, your career, your projects, even relationships with that why, that's where fulfillment often comes from. You connect with others who share that belief.
Living in alignment. I like that. So beyond companies and individuals, where else does this why concept ripple out?
Well, it connects strongly to leadership. Sinek talks a lot about trust in his other work, like leaders eat last.
Right, creating safe environments.
Exactly. A clear why helps build that trust. If everyone understands the purpose and believes in it and trusts the leaders in each other, you can achieve amazing things.
It gets everyone pulling in the same direction.
Yep. And it also links to his infinite game idea.
Yeah.
Business, life. They aren't games with finish lines. You don't win.
It's about staying in the game, getting better.
Exactly. Playing for the long haul, driven by that constant why, rather than just chasing short-term victories. It provides resilience.
A guiding star, sort of, keeps you on course. So could this work in other areas, like education?
The sources suggest so. Imagine if schools started with the why of learning, like fostering curiosity or creating good citizens, instead of just focusing on the curriculum.
Yeah, that could change the whole dynamic for students, make it more meaningful.
Or nonprofits. A clear why is absolutely vital for them to attract donors and volunteers who genuinely care about the cause. It keeps the mission pure.
And even personal relationships, understanding your partner's why.
Could definitely build deeper trust and connection, right?
Yeah.
Understanding what truly drives the people you care about.
Kind of like knowing their operating system.
Huh? Sort of. Now, it's fair to say, Start With Why isn't without its critics. It's hugely popular, but some argue it maybe oversimplifies things.
Like forgetting the who, your audience.
Yeah, that's one point. You need to know who you're talking to and tailor your message, even if your why is solid. You can't just shout it into the wind.
Makes sense. What else?
There's also a question about whether the brain science part applies universally. Does everyone's limbic system respond exactly the same way? Maybe not. People are complex.
Good points. No single framework fits everyone perfectly.
For sure. And the sources also touch on assumptions, how we make decisions based on what we think we know, which might be incomplete or just plain wrong.
Like thinking the Earth was flat, we acted based on that assumption.
Right. And sometimes things work out maybe by luck and we think we know why, but we might be mistaken about the actual cause. Success isn't always repeatable if you don't truly understand the why behind it.
Humbling. You might just get lucky.
It happens. Which brings us back to leadership. Sinek emphasizes it's not about rank or position.
It's a responsibility.
Yeah, a responsibility to care for those around you, to help them grow, feel safe, feel trusted. A title just gives you a bigger platform to do that.
So anyone, anywhere in an organization can choose to lead.
That's the idea. It's about how you show up for others. And the real measure of a team or a leader isn't when things are easy.
It's when things get tough.
Exactly. How do you handle adversity? Do you pull together or fall apart? That's why building trust during the calm times is so critical. It's the foundation you need when the storm hits.
Because you'll need that trust capital later.
Absolutely. And this flows into human connection and service. Especially now, there's more awareness around mental health, right? We've all been through stuff.
Yeah, recent years really highlighted that. We're all human.
And sometimes the impact of trauma or stress isn't immediate. It can surface later. But connection is key. That idea of no crying alone, reaching out.
Creating spaces where it's okay to not be okay.
Yes. Psychological safety and service, too. Helping others who might be facing similar challenges you faced, that can be incredibly healing.
Like if you're feeling lonely, go find someone else who looks lonely and connect.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
If you need support, try being supportive to someone else. It's that simple act of asking, are you okay? And genuinely wanting to know the answer. That's leadership. That's humanity.
Just being there makes a world of difference.
Definitely. Okay, one last big concept. The law of diffusion of innovation.
Ah, the adoption curve. Innovators, early adopters, all those groups.
Right, how ideas spread. You've got the innovators, then early adopters, then the early majority, late majority, and finally the laggards.
And there's that tipping point, right, to cross into the mainstream.
Yeah, somewhere around 15, 18% market penetration, that's when you start getting the early majority on board. But they only jump in after they see others try it first. They need proof.
Are you watching the early guys?
Exactly. But who are those first people? The innovators and early adopters, maybe the first 16%. They're the ones who operate on gut feeling. They buy into the vision. They connect with the why.
They're the Apple fanatics lining up, they believe.
Precisely. So you need to focus on attracting them. First, the people who believe what you believe. They'll help you cross that chasm to the majority.
Unlike TiVo, maybe. They had the what recording TV, but maybe not a compelling why.
That's the argument. They focused on features, not the belief. Compare that to MLK Jr. Again, pure why communication. That's what mobilized people.
Wow. Okay, so it really does all loop back to starting with why.
Seems to be the central theme. Whether you're building a company, leading a team, or just navigating your own life, understanding and communicating your core purpose, your belief. That's the starting point for making a real impact and building genuine connections.
So for everyone listening, maybe the question to chew on is, what's your why? Have you ever really articulated it? And how might knowing it change things for you? Think about those moments. When did you feel most purposeful, most alive? Definitely food for thought.
For sure.
And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, you know what to do. Subscribe to Sip and Talk wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out our buddy Micky's YouTube channel. Always has some fun stuff going on over there.